Well, a very, very pleasant morning and welcome indeed to the program Your Goals Realized. Our resident advisor on financial matters promised to return to complete a very interesting conversation we were having, and she's into the business of keeping promises. This I know. So here is Dolores Jones back in studio with us. Good morning, Del.
Good morning, Nadine, and good morning, listeners. Listeners, you know, in my business, we take our commitments seriously. So if we say we're going to do something, we're going to employ our best efforts to ensure that it's done. So with that said, I'm here today to conclude our conversation on why it's very important for you to be able to distinguish between assets that appreciate and depreciate in value. Additionally, what can we do to maintain, perhaps even extend the life and value of the assets which we purchase, which we know will depreciate over time? I also promised that we'd review those depreciating assets that even though we know their value lessens as time passes, we still may need to acquire them and may even have to take a loan to do so. So then, when do loans to purchase these assets make sense?
All right. So I remember that with appreciating assets over time, their value may grow. Also, you said that depreciating assets over time, their value will lessen, like the car as it reaches out the gate. Yes, it starts to lessen, and we should know which is which before we acquire them. Mm-hmm.
There you go, Nadine. And for listeners who missed us last week, let's quickly remind ourselves of examples of depreciating assets. Depreciating assets really are assets that depreciate as the life goes on. Some, as you said before, once we touch them, the price starts to go down.
Mm-hmm.
But notwithstanding that, Nadine, in life, some we must own.
Right.
Some of these are, we're looking at electronic tools, electronic gadgets like the phones, the computer, the tablets. We also look at some furniture and even motor vehicle.
Okay.
But what we can do to extend the value and the life of the depreciating asset is, number one, do some research. Research the item before you purchase it to determine a reliable brand. There are a lot of consumer reports that can help you to do that. And some of us who shop online, you know that there are reviews of the items that we sometimes purchase that give a good indication as to whether or not it is an item
that we need
to buy. We also need to, sometimes look on the life expectancy of the particular item, because there are some computers, for example, Nadine, after a couple of years, they may still be there, but the usable life of these items no longer exists.
Upgrade again.
Right. We also have to look at protection, warranties on some of these items that we purchase, insurance, servicing and maintenance, example, computers, antivirus software, those are the things. So before we go and purchase a depreciating asset, which we know will depreciate, let's one, look at, does it make sense in our life to have it? And two, how can we extend the value? So a car, we know that even though a car is a depreciating asset, it's one of the necessary things in some household and in some families that we must have. So the big thing is, do we look at just buying any car, or do we buy a car that is affordable? We need to look on spare parts, for example. How what's the usual cost of acquiring the spare parts of a particular car.
Right.
Insurance, because there are some cars that are rated higher in insurance than others.
Okay.
Reliability of a particular brand, and importantly, how easy it is to access parts. I have seen persons with cars that go
Can't
down
find the parts.
and they cannot
Yes.
find the parts. So these are some of the things that we must look at
about, yes.
before we go and buy. And the gadgets, for example, Nadine, is something that we really need. We know it's a depreciating asset, but for us with children who are studying, even for us as adults, we know that these
It's
are
good
things
to
that we
have,
must
yes.
have. But do we really need to buy the smartphone, the tablet, the desktop, and the laptop all in one? We don't need to. If we have the laptop, then we don't need the desktop.
Right.
There are some smartphones that can do actually what the tablet can do. So we don't need to have all 4 or
Right.
all 5 of these
Right.
gadgets
Very
because
good,
it
very
might
good
be
points.
in vogue, or you might look like
Yeah.
you can afford to. But it's just understanding what we need to do as we build our nest egg. These are some of the things that we buy that we can put the monies that we spend towards them in an investment vehicle that helps to build our net worth.
Yeah. All right. So this business of investing, it really does take a lot of thought and a lot of planning. And thanks for bringing up those points, Dolores. You can easily go off course if you don't remain focused. And I like the point you made last week about investing large sums in, let's say, a car as against investing the same amount in an asset which appreciates. This decision, can have a dramatic effect on dramatically affect your future or affect your future financial well-being. So that $5 million car may not have much resale value in 10 years, whereas $5 million for or towards a house in 10 years usually has growth in worth.
Oh yes, Nadine, so true. Think of the impact of your net worth. That's why we like the approach of knowing your goals from the outset. If you know your goals and keep your eyes on the prize, you are less likely to become distracted. And if you fall off course, it's easier to get back on track. And if your goals change, you can make better decisions as to new strategies to achieve those goals. Listeners, we have to find that balance that will make us happy in how we allocate our funds, happy today, happy tomorrow. And to help you make those decisions, my team and I stand ready. So come talk to our advisory team about your financial future. We're happy to help you. Our email address is jnfundmanagers@jnbs.com, and our text number is 504-1719. That's 504-1719. And you may also contact us by our website. Of course, as usual, our programs are uploaded on the Facebook and YouTube. So later today, to listen to this program, you can go online and listen on YouTube or Facebook. Again, thank you, listeners.
All right. Thank you so much, Dolores. And you have been listening to the program Your Goals Realized. Some valuable points, things to think about. I like the one about you don't have to get all 4 things. You can just think and say, you look here, if I have the laptop, I don't need the desktop. If I have this, I don't need that. Make wise decisions. Join us again next week when once again we'll have Your Goals Realized, brought to you by JN Fund Managers Limited.
Relationships that build wealth, create opportunities, the right solutions. That's what we do at J&N Fund Managers.
We're in pursuit of your financial security.
Portfolio and investment management services for individuals and corporate clients, from wealth building and risk management to preparing for a comfortable retirement. Strong, stable, secure.
We're in pursuit of your success.
Let's talk. J&N Fund Managers, your safer, smarter financial partner.